all the 7 PRINCE2 processes apply to the PRINCE2 Agile project and will be used. Of course, you have to tailor them to the Agile ways of working, but then again, that goes for whenever you want to use PRINCE2 for anything. If you want to use PRINCE2 for the waterfall project, you have to tailor PRINCE2 to fit with waterfall way of thinking. So here we're going to use them for Agile, and I'm going to give you a quick guide, kind of rule of thumb for how you want to think when you apply the PRINCE2 processes in an Agile project. So 3 things you want to remember is time boxes, cadences, apply to the management layers. And then also we want to keep in mind our PRINCE2 Agile behaviors. The collaboration, the rich communication, the exploration, the self-organization, and the transparency. So with that in your mind, you're good to go. And let me show you how it works. So let's begin with time boxes. You want to think of your PRINCE2 Agile project as consisting of time boxes in different levels. And the top level time box is of course the project time box. So you need to find out for your project how long is the project time box going to be. Is it going to be a 6 month, a 9 month, a 12 month, whatever. How long is the project going to be? The next level time box will be the stages. So how long are your stages going to be? And here you want to think cadence, as I said. So you don't want to have to think, oh, first we go with a 3-month stage, and then we take a 5-month stage, and then we take a 1-month stage. That will be confusing and it won't help you. And we're going to work with tolerance on scope and quality anyway. So we're going to fit in what we can fit in the stages. So for the stages, you go with cadence. So a 12-month project, for instance, could be cut up into 3-month stages. An 18-month project, 3-month stages, maybe 6-month stages, but find a cadence that works for you. And you don't want it to be too long. Now the next level time box beneath the stages will be the releases. When can you release something? So if you have 4-month time boxes for your stages, maybe you want to go with 2-month time boxes for your releases. Then you can fit 2 releases into 1 stage. That works pretty nicely. Below the releases, we have the lowest level time box, which will be on the team level, and that's the sprint or the team level iteration. And if we have 2-month long releases, 2-week sprints would mean that we can have 4 sprints and then we release something to the users. So that would work pretty nicely. So now let's say we have a project that is 16 months long, we have 4-month long stages, we have 2-month long releases, and we have 2-week long sprints. The next question is, of course, how do the PRINCE2 processes apply to all of this? Well, we're going to look at the initiation stage and then at the delivery stages. How will that look? First of all, the initiation stage. The initiation stage isn't going to be as long as the rest of the stages. If you're doing 3 or 4 month delivery stages, your initiation stage certainly isn't going to be that long. That wouldn't be sensible in an Agile project. Because remember, the higher the uncertainty, the less time you want to spend planning, especially in a complex environment. So for the initiation stage, you go with a 1 week, maybe a 2-week time box, something like that. And within that time box, you're going to think of people collaborating, using rich communication, working together. So here you're going to think of starting up a project, initiating a project, managing a stage boundary, and directing a project. All 4 of those processes together in one big box. They're all in it together, so they are going to do it together. So for the initiation stage time box, let's say you have a 1 week time box, you get everybody together in a room and you do starting up, initiation, managing a stage boundary, and directing a project, making the decision whether we should go on like this or not, within that time box, in that room, basically. And then we get to the delivery stages. Now in the delivery stage, you would have directing a project, you would have controlling a stage, and you would have managing product delivery. Now starting from the bottom, in managing product delivery, that's where we have the sprints, the team level iterations. So they are sprinting along 2 weeks, sprinting, and each time they finish a 2-week sprint, they have something done, and they're showing that to the users. They're doing a retro, they're planning the next iteration sprint, and then they keep going like that in a cadence. So a lot of planning would happen here on the team level when they plan the next iteration / sprint. And of course they keep track of their work using burn down charts or burn up charts. They got information radiators, people walking by can see how they're doing. All of that is going on the team level. On the next level, on controlling a stage, the product management level, that's where we collect things into releases. So when X number of teams have sprinted 4 times, in this example, we collect that into release and we make sure it hits the end users so they can start using it. And this would be taken care of on the product management level. So it's a time box to make sure that we're actually producing something worthwhile, we're getting some feedback from the users. And also on the controlling a stage, on the product management level, you would do progress follow-up. You would have a burn down chart for the whole project here, and you would look at the information radius for the whole project. So you would get some information. Maybe you're doing scrum of scrums, you're getting information from the teams, and you're gathering it into one big information radiator for the whole project, one big burn down for the whole project. So we can see how the product is doing here by looking at information radiators, burn downs, and by looking, feeling, touching the things that are being released from the project. Super important. The level above that, directing a project, the product board, they need to get out of the office, they need to visit the projects, they need to come down into the next 2 levels, controlling a stage and managing product delivery. So the product board, if they want to know about the progress, they could come down and look at the project information radiator that the product manager has in the product room. They could attend a release review, and they certainly are very welcome and should come down and look at the sprint demos, sprint reviews, when different teams have finished their iterations and are showing what they've done. So that's the way, if you're a product board, to get a feeling of the project. Are we progressing as we want to? Are we doing good, bad? Are we getting more done than we thought or less? Don't want to be sitting up in directing a project far away from the project, getting highlight reports written on a piece of paper. That's not a good way to keep in touch with your agile project. When you're getting near the end of your delivery stage, you want to plan for the next stage, and you also want to summarize what did we actually get done in this stage. And that's where you use managing stage boundary. And because we want to do collaboration and rich communication and all that, think of managing stage boundary and directing a project put together in one box, covering all the way from the product board level, product manager, and the teams. So they're going to do this just like they did with the initiation stage. They're going to do it together. They're going to get into one room, and they're going to follow up on what did we actually do in this stage and what are we going to do in the next stage. And they're also going to look at the business case. How is benefit realization going? What are the users saying? We've been releasing twice this stage already, so any data on that. And of course, they're going to look at the updated project plan all together. And then at the end of that time box, because this is going to be done on a time box, maybe you use 1 week for this at the end of the stage. At the end of that time box, the product board is going to make a decision. Do we want to keep funding this project? And if the decision is yes, you're moving on to the next stage, which is just like the stage you just finished, and it's all working on a cadence. So you're doing it again and again and again. And if you're agile, you're always looking at how can we do it better next time. So that's the key to being agile. Using that data from this stage, how did we do? How much did we get done? What did the users say? Doing retrospectives and finding out, good, we want to do it even better next time. What should we do different? So that's a super quick overview of how the PRINCE2 processes fit into the PRINCE2 Agile project.